Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. If you missed the first segment, you'll get to hear more of Shelby McCall. This is her life. We found out a lot of things about Shelby. It's our show producer. And I know Dave Gabbard is my co-host. I know there's no other radio show that I know that has a producer that plays the trumpet, and we also have a poet laureate in Charlie Covington. So tell me that. I mean, and our next guest.
Who's going to be elected village idiot?
I will. Well, he's not here today. No, we won't go into that. But hey, it's good to have the next guest on the show. I know he's on the road a lot. He's trying to get things going, getting ready to open up out there at Primary Tackle, 12020 Walker Street. He's in is that right? 12020 Walker Street. Is that right?
That is correct.
That's unusual. That's about 3 digits too many, for Primary Tackle. But I know he's outside working on a boat before he opened the store this morning at 10 a.m., right? I mean, is that right?
That's correct.
And we're talking to our good friend David Best. Hey, David, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, sir. Doing good. Hope you are doing well today.
Well, like I said, I made it back from Little Red River. It took me almost as long to get across the bridge as it did to drive to Heber Springs. So, anybody, and Dave Gabbert's, we've talked about that on the air. Had a great trip to Little Red River, and I'll talk about that later in the show also. But coming home is a mess. But I know, David, let's talk a little local fishing as Dave listens in. And I know for you folks, we're going to really do a lot of fishing, even though Ron Wong is at the Classic. We'll talk to Ron later on. I don't think anybody can give us a local report like David, because his place out on the Depot Square in Arlington is kind of a gathering place. So what's going on? I know we've had rain. Man, I'll tell you what, it's I can't mow my yard. If I flipped a golf ball in my grass, I can't find it. So So tell me what's happening, all these lake levels and everything.
Well, the lake levels are beginning to come up, and the lake levels, I just got back from Texas, and look,
yes.
we got high water here, but we ain't got high water like they got in Texas right now.
They do, yes, and I'm hearing that from the Classic at Ray Roberts Lake down there, that everybody that pre-fished it are saying it's about 3 to 4 feet, maybe higher than they had a chance to look at it before. But
yep.
So what does that mean? It's pushing the fish now. We're still not in shallows yet. Are we?
Yeah, they're beginning to get shallow. So I mean, they'll be shallow again, but there's still a lot of fish going out deeper right now. Pickwick, the ledge bite's beginning to pick up, but we are still catching a lot of fish shallow at this point in time. So, and we will continue to as these water levels come up. Those fish are still going to continue to move even shallower as they go.
Well, middle Mississippi, central Mississippi was slammed this past week with 6 to 8 inches of rain, and I was looking at the St. Jude Bass Classic. I didn't see your name on there, David, in the top 10, so I wanted to make sure. No. Okay, well,
we didn't do well there. I did great in Texas, though. I mean, I finished 17th out of 114.
Man. Well, I was leading to that. You stole my thunder. Man, I was trying to lead up to that, and you just jumped the gun. But I do want to congratulate the team of Banton and Garrison. 5 fish, 21.05 pounds. They smoked them. The closest next was 17.9 with Hampton Towery. But, golly, I see a lot of zeros in here, David. And, I mean, it's just I'm shocked that they got 21.5. That's a 4-pound average here. And you can go down there and you can finish. Number 20 was 10.55. So 11 pounds difference between first and 20th. So
yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, it really does, Larry. But I mean, the thing is, those guys that go down there and fish that St. Jude Bass Classic, there's a lot of guys that spend a lot of time because it's such a great cause and it's such a great.
That's what it is. Yeah. And because I know my buddy the Murchisons. Hey, I'm looking on here. They finished 47th. Hey, Murchison guys, they caught one fish and it weighed 5.85. I bet that stirred up those guys down there. But so Sardis was, I thought 20 pounds would win it. And that would have won it normally, but so what is this going to do to those big fours in the reservoirs down there, David? What do you think?
I think them fish are going to move back shallow again. I do know that since the St. Jude Bass Classic, there have been a lot of bigger weights weighed in.
Yes,
there's been some guys going down there and just smoking those fish, and it's going to continue to be that way for the next probably 2 to 3 weeks as this water comes up. Those fish are going to get even more and more predictable.
That's what I'm thinking, and that helps us unpredictable anglers out. I know that for a fact. But again, we're talking to David Best, primary tackle, and you kind of stole the thunder. So talk about the trip to Texas. I watched you. I listened to you when you were talking about it. You looked a little weary. So, so talk about the tournament. That's pretty impressive. I'm glad for you, man.
Well, we're still slowly but surely learning to fish out of this kayak and get it right. But my biggest goal for this tournament was to go down there and put 2 solid limits together.
Yes,
and I managed to do that. I mean, I was in 30th after day 1, and I ended up in
17th. Yeah,
17th. So I was pretty happy with that finish. I mean, I missed the check by 4 inches. So, I mean, that's pretty dang close.
4 inches? Yeah.
4 inches.
Now people, explain to the listeners, as Dave is listening also, this is not about poundage. This is about length, right?
This is about length. It's all what it's about, and I had my opportunities. On Saturday, I had one of my classic meltdowns that I tend to have when things don't go right.
Oh, David. Come on.
But we got it under control, and we put a limit in the boat by 11 o'clock, and we just continued to cull during the day, and we did good. But yeah, the way we do it is it all goes onto a little app called Tourney-X, and we take pictures of those fish as we catch them, and those inches add up during the day, and the app automatically culls. So you catch a 15-incher, and your smallest one's a 13.5. When you put it into the app, it just takes it away.
Yeah. Well, and what the kayak you used to talk about it?
So I fish out of a Hobie Outback. Y'all have heard me talk about Hobies before. That pedal system in that boat, I can pedal it at 4.5 miles an hour. It's actually what I'm sitting here working on as a pro angler right now.
Yeah.
And talk to you just like I'm talking to you right now. That they've got such great technology in those fins that it's really hard to beat how they work and how well they do their job. And but I've got a video I'm going to try to release here in the next few days.
Good. Okay.
And it shows a really neat technique or a really neat thing that we do at times when we catch a fish.
Yeah.
What I was fishing was a little grass point.
A grass
and so
point.
I would pull up to that grass point, and it had 10 feet on one side, and it had 6 feet on the other.
Uh-huh.
And I'd throw over into that 10 foot of water, and as I'm pulling up that grass, those fish would hit it. Well, in a kayak, if you got a good fish, it's going to pull you towards that grass point.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, but you can flip those fins into reverse and pedal while you're fighting that fish, and you can pull the fish and your kayak away from what you're fishing. So that's one of the beauties of what we do.
Wow. It's so different for folks. Think about this. You had over 100 kayaks in that competition. And what lake was that held on now? Was that Sam Rayburn?
That was on the famous Sam Rayburn.
Yeah, the famous Sam Rayburn. Yeah. And so how many kayaks were in that thing?
114, and that's actually one of the smaller fields we've had this year.
Well, I was going to ask you because you've talked about even bigger fields than that. So
yeah, and the reason it is right now the Bassmasters kayak division is at the Bassmasters Classic.
Yes, they
are. There's 10 guys trying to get on that Bassmasters Classic stage this weekend.
Yeah.
And they should be announcing them later today.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, and one day David Best wants to be there, right? So,
I would love to be there.
Yeah, and you're making the steps. So he not only – that's what I'm saying about David's place. You go out there, you're not only talking about maybe get any kayak or whatever it might be, but you're talking to a guy that fishes out of one. And this has been a pretty amazing journey for David. I mean, we could spend the whole show talking about.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, about David growing up in West Memphis, Christian Brothers graduate, loves the Razorbacks like me.
And our hogs are doing well.
Aren't they doing well? Dave Gabbard, I know you can talk about that too, but we're the Omahogs. But anyway, got into the business world, then opened up his shop in Bartlett. And then all of a sudden, he's at one of the oldest buildings, the SYS Wilson building out there. How old is that building?
It's been here since 1893. It's one of the oldest existing businesses in Shelby County right now.
I remember when it opened. No, I don't. No, I don't. But you never, in your dreams, when you were at Bartlett, thought that you'd end up being this kayak man, did you? I mean, that was
no, that was never in my thought process that I would be fishing out of a kayak. I've been, I fished out of a 21-foot Ranger for seems like 100 years.
Yes.
But it's been so much fun, and it is such a different endeavor.
Well, tell our folks now. Today the store opens at 10:00 this morning. Head on out there. We got anything we need to talk about that's going on at the store now before we let you go?
No, I mean we're going to have a bunch of kayak guys out here this afternoon. If you want to see some boats,
there you go.
The West Tennessee Bass Shackers are fishing over at Herb Parsons today.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to have a few of those guys out here this afternoon. So if you want to come see some boats already rigged up and some of the ways some of these guys especially rig their boats to get going, come see us.
Come on out to the store, and that event is going on at Herb Parsons today. Also, if you want to just go out and watch these guys, I mean, it's quite a thing. Hey, David Best, thank you, man. We'll hang on and talk to you next month, okay, man?
All right. Thank you, Larry.
All right, let's take a break. Dave Gabbard, you still here?
I'm still here.
Hang on, we're coming right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.